Welcome to the first video episode of Hyper Theory. I couldn't be more excited, not just to be joining you photonically, but for this particular episode, for this interview with Mr. Harry Gallagher, also known as Nightscape. I asked him to describe himself to me for a bio. I think he sent me sexy, handsome something. I'll leave that to you to judge, but he is a free runner, adventurer, vlogger, storyteller, lore collector, lore bender, beautiful human being who travels the world and cities and underneath cities. In his recent video in the catacombs of Paris, taking beautiful photos and encouraging people to have adventures and live life, which is really rather poignant for us at the moment as trigger warning death. Not too long after the video was filmed, Harry's father, William Gallagher, Bill, sadly passed away, and this is something that we touched upon on podcast conversation. Nonetheless, it's poignant for the fact that this spirit of life and living life with no fucks given, no holds barred, collecting what Harry calls dad lore. I'll let the meaning of that ripple, but living life in this free way, and I couldn't be more excited to be alive, to be here, and primarily to be about to share with you this beautiful, funny, silly, story-heavy conversation with someone I'm proud and honored and happy to call my dear friend, Harry Gallagher, aka Nightscape. Harry and I went to school together, and he started off as a free runner, climbing buildings. I remember people, guys, Harry's doing backflips in the field, consecutive backflip, and just always adventuring, and it just led further and further, and always had an eye for filmmaking. And yeah, I'll let him speak for himself, but to give the intro to those that don't know and the refresher to those that do, Harry is an incredible person, and I am delighted to share with you this fantastic conversation and to rewatch this fantastic conversation that we had a couple of months back at the beautiful Don New Valley in North Devon, which is run by Harry's brother and his partner, and their community love jam. Don New Valley, look it up, beautiful place. And enjoy. Hopefully all of our podcasts will be visual now, and God, I don't know what to say. Keep vibrating endlessly with positivity, enthusiasm, and all of the other full range of things that exist within reason. See you on the other side.
Welcome to Hyper Theory, Episode 3, Harry Gallagher, aka Nightscape.
Thank you for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming out here on this beautiful day.
Bro, it is a beautiful day. Unbelievable. And look at the set. The set is great. Look at it. Sorry, this is hilarious.
I do love
it,
the like that. Is it dandelion?
Bro, what is this stuff? Is it pollen or is
I
it?
think it's dandelion, isn't it? Like when you blow, you make a wish.
Yeah, it is that. I'm pretty sure.
It's people's wishes.
There's always one day throughout the year that it randomly just goes crazy, like with all this stuff. And today is that day. And also, yesterday was like I noticed loads of daddy long legs.
Okay.
Like a ridiculous amount of daddy long legs.
Just you know they live for a day.
Is that? I was speaking about this yesterday. Is it the daddy long legs or is that a mayfly?
Both. And it is
Really?
May Day. Well, it was May Day yesterday.
Mayday. Yeah, I thought it was what daddy long legs only for a day.
I think they're like they have
Good.
a marriage and a divorce and an existential crisis and a rueful death where they regret everything they've done. all in one day.
Like time dilation. Yeah, that's like a thing. You know, in like Inception. Is it Inception? No, not Inception. What's the one when they go to the other planets? Interstellar. And when they go to the other planets, it's like 1 second on that planet is like a year here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think for daddy long legs, because they live their life in a day, we are in super slow-mo to them?
Yeah.
But they're just like living completely normal lives. And it feels like 70 years to them.
Does time dilate like that for animals?
I think maybe because they do say that flyers see us in slow motion, and that's why they're able, like when you swat a flyer.
Isn't that because they move so fast?
Yeah, but maybe like their like perception of time is different, and they're able, like like the Flash,
Yeah.
the superhero. Is that close enough to your
It's
face?
fine.
Are you sure? I think I'm getting anxious that you're not going to be heard properly. Yeah, I think that's better. Shout out to the viewers. What are we talking about? Flyers and time.
Yeah. Well, because it's true. When you're a child, like even for humans, even where you are in your life, like when you're a child, a year is 100% of your life.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when you're one, and then when you're two, it's 50%, and then it.
Yeah. Because if you're 50, 1 year is a 50th of your life. So it is a perception thing. And I definitely feel like as I grow up that time goes quickly.
Absolutely.
But I remember when I was a kid, bro, 1 week was like a long time. Now a week feels like a month.
Mm-hmm.
No. When I was a kid, it felt like a month. Now it feels like a month is like a week. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, although, and I have experienced this as being true, they do say that if you do things that change the pathways in your brain that you're using, they recommend like brushing your teeth with a different hand each day. Each day. But in my experience, like, you know, when you like go on a holiday
Yeah.
and it's like 2 weeks, but that 2 weeks feels like 6 months of your life because you're making new memories, you're in new places, you're doing new things.
Well, that's why they say that, like, if you live a life where you literally just like on a consistent routine of basically like a loop, doing the same thing every day, your life will go like that, and it will feel like it goes so quickly. If you're just like working the same job, if you're working in Waitrose for like 30 years, it will go like that. But if you're like every single day doing a different adventure, making different memories, you've got more focus points in your brain to remember. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it will feel like there's more things that clog up your brain. Whereas if you're just in a loop of like consistent doing the same thing every single day, it all just merges into one. Like, I don't really remember high school that much.
Yeah.
Do you remember high school? We went to school together, by the way.
I remember everyone being like, Harry's doing backflips. Harry Gallagher's doing backflips on the field.
Yeah, man.
I was like there having a go.
Gallagher! Badminton! No, what did he say? What he used to say so, he was like, badminton! Out now!
Out now! Yeah.
Oh no, I think it was because we used to play basketball, and like half of us play basketball, half of us play badminton.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play basketball, so I'd be fucking around, and then my punishment was to be sent to badminton, which I was fine with.
Did you think in your experience, because you do a lot of like adventures, you like pack your life with quests and avenues and adrenaline and adventure, and I guess that was what was in part was rubbing the wrong way with those teachers in school as well. Do you do that? Do you think there's a subconscious mechanism in you that maybe does that because you're trying to slow time down, like you're trying to, or just fill your life. I guess fill your life.
I never really saw it from a perspective of slow it. Like I'm actively trying to slow my life down, but I definitely know that my goal with my one existence on this planet and the probability that I even exist is so obscenely, incomprehensibly small that I want to make the most of it. And it's like, I've only got one opportunity to make the most of it, so I might as well do as much cool shit as I possibly can before I die. And to be honest, it almost feels like physical pain when I'm not doing mad shit. Like if I wake up and I have a day where I don't do at least one thing that, I don't know, that pushes my brain to a point where I like have to overcome some sort of mental barrier, then I don't feel like I've succeeded in my day. I don't know, I feel weird. It's probably not a healthy way to think.
Maybe. I think that if it stops you from ever being able to relax or ever be able to take a day where you just rest.
I feel guilty when I don't do mad shit for myself, mainly because I know that like time is my most valuable asset on this existence, and I can't get time back. We only have a set amount of time. You never know when you're gonna die. So it's like, whilst I have the opportunity of being healthy, young-ish, and able, who am I to not live my life in the best possible way that I can and make as many cool memories and do as many cool stories and have like incredible stories to tell my grandkids about and all that shit. So I don't know. Maybe I'm too hard on myself with that. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, they just accept what life is, and when an adventure happens, it's cool. And then they have that memory to go on with them. But for me, it's definitely a case of like, I'm actively chasing memories.
And I guess for like them, it's that memory that actually keeps them in the prison of whatever it is, the 9 to 5 or the hours that they're not happy about. They're like remembering that one experience that they had, and that allows them to like feel happy despite their current circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, it's always like when you see someone on Instagram and they post like, I don't know, they've been on holiday and they're like, holiday blues. And it's like one holiday a year. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I don't know, man, like I just couldn't have one thing to look forward to. I need to like, my life is my look forward. I want to look forward to my life.
Every day, every few hours.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, man. Obviously, we live in this capitalist system where it's built in a way that we have to fucking work and we have to pay the bills and we have to pay rent. And that's why I always say to like young kids or like people that speak to me and that want to do YouTube or something, what's the point?
What do you say to young kids?
Yeah, no.
Oh, what was the point? I was like, if there's any young kids watching, listen up.
Like if there's any like people that come up to me asking for advice about doing YouTube and being able to live in a way that's like different, I always say, wait, how do we get to that point?
Rewind.
How do we get to this point? Because I'm trying to think of the exact point.
We're talking about time dilation, and then
that was before.
You were talking about your like the adventures and stuff. I was saying that doing adventures can maybe like slow time down, and I asked you if that was why you do what you do, and then you were saying that
that was what I was going to say. So
something.
What I say to like people who are young who don't have rent to pay, who live with their parents, and are like looking for careers and looking for this, I'm like, this is like the best possible time in your life to chase some sort of dream that you have. You have no rent. Do you know how mad that is to like not have to pay rent? There's so many people out there who want to chase a dream, have this thing that they think about every single day. They wake up and they yearn to chase this like beautiful goal that they have, and they can't physically do it because they have to get up at 6 a.m, work for 10, 12 hours a day, come home, they're exhausted, they've got to make food for their kids, and then they have to go to sleep. And like, there's no time for them to make a window to build a dream in their life that they actually enjoy. And it's like, if you're living at home and you don't have rent to pay and you don't have the threat of being homeless if you don't do anything, use that time now. And that's what I did when I was starting YouTube.
Yeah.
I took advantage of that.
But equally, and I don't want to just diminish, because I experienced this myself, like as an adult, the constraints of life and society and internal struggles that can sort of sometimes worryingly increasingly make it hard to live your dreams or live the life you want to live. I never want to diminish the real constraints and difficulty that people may face with that.
Sure.
But at the same time, there's this old Chinese proverb that's like, the best time to plant a tree is 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
The second best time to plant a tree is right now. And it's like, you know, we could all chase that or look back at, that perfect time, or that time when I didn't have bills to pay, or I didn't have rent due, or I didn't have a job, or, you know, and even with those things, as much as we can, try to live our dreams and make our waking life our dream.
For sure. And it's also like how you perceive your dreams. Like some people, they just dream of having a nice family and having a stable job, and that's beautiful, and that's what they dream of having in their life, which is amazing. I think for me, like I've got more of a perception where I want to like obviously do a lot of adventure. I'm quite an adrenaline addict, and I want to, my like value of life comes from that. But I think obviously there's times and there's so many occasions where people have rent to pay, and there's no options, and it is hard for people. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it's your perception on what you want. If you want to chase something bigger than like the stereotypical life, then the perfect time is when you're young and you don't have rent to pay. And it's like, I mean, I was very grateful because when I was like 15, I remember thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to like start looking at a career and start looking at a job, but I don't want to do that. I want to just do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it. So what is the only way that I can do that? And the only way that I possibly found, the only loophole, was to film what I'm doing and put it on the internet. And it's like, it is kind of a job, because it is work, but it's work that I enjoy, and I can still do whatever I want to do. Yes, I have to film it and put it on the internet and make a story out of it and keep people engaged, blah, blah, blah. But I'm still gonna be able to create incredible memories. I'm still gonna be able to hopefully financially support myself, and it's going to fulfill my inner desires. So I'm very grateful that I realized that from a really young age, and then I just managed to pursue that for the next years of my life.
I mean, you found a way to carve like a life and activities, and I feel like almost calling it work is like too reductive for what you do, but it's like a work that's like deeply meaningful to you and brings a lot of joy to other people as well. Like,
I hope so. I mean, my mission has always been, like with my videos, make cool videos, support yourself financially, and inspire as many people as possible. And if I can make a video where somebody's like, some young kids watching it, and they just think like, it fills them with some fire inside, like, oh, this is so cool, like this is what I want to be doing, I wish I could do this, that just makes me happy. And I want to inspire as many people to be able to live like a life where it's not just constraints and financial burdens and cuffs of like debts and all this shit. And it does exist, don't get me wrong, obviously we all fall into that, but I don't know.
Is that more important to you than like, because you get like millions of views on your stuff, but is it the kind of thing, it's like, that's great, but like if even like 10 people watch this and they're like massively inspires them or lights a fire in them, then that is like worth $1 million.
Oh, 100%, bro. If I was getting no views, I'd still be doing it, because it's just cool. Like it's so incredible to be able to tell a story and connect to someone emotionally who I've never met before. And that's why I really enjoy meeting people who recognize me from my videos, because it's like, I've never met this person before in my entire life. I don't even know that they exist, but they've seen my art and it's connected with them on an emotional level where they feel inspired. Like, how mad is that? I've never met this person. They live across the world and they feel like hyped up and gassed over my stuff that I've made in my bedroom, making on my laptop. It's wild.
And it goes beyond, you know, I think ego gets a bad rap. There's a healthy ego is a fantastic thing, but like I think it goes like beyond ego. It's like if you know that like the thing that brings you joy, doing the thing that you love that brings you joy, and that is your sort of life experience that you're just sort of putting out there and sharing, or just simply doing, and other people are observing, knowing that can like bring someone else not only joy, but like inspiration or insight or reflection or emotions that I'm sure people feel from when they watch your art. That's like the most powerful thing that you could do as an artist, as a storyteller, as an adventurer, as a human, mate.
Yeah, man. I think, I agree that ego has a bad rap. I think you do need a bit of ego in certain aspects of your life. And I think if you're just completely like free from the ego, then I don't know, I think you end up in a sort of a spiral of like endless selflessness, which is probably not a bad thing, but like if you want to build something, you do have to take yourself first.
I mean, mate, if you I mean, just psychologically, if you literally dissolved your ego, you wouldn't eat. Like, you wouldn't get out of bed in the morning. You would just be blended at one with everything else. And he's eating, so you would fade away, you know. And how are you gonna help anyone? How are you gonna end anyone's suffering? How are you gonna do anything like that? So in a way, that's almost egotistical, right? Like, it prevents you from being not only like healthy and connected with yourself, which is so important in and of itself, but also it helps you be a connected co-participant of the world.
True.
With other people.
Do you think there's anyone that exists that has like zero ego, like a Buddha somewhere?
There's some people that claim this,
like breatharian. Have you heard about that?
I saw a guy that claimed a breatharian.
Breatharian.
That's.
There's like Buddhas and monks that have claimed that they haven't eaten for like 3 years, and they've just been in a pure state of meditation and like completely unaffected by any exterior things, and that they literally just absorb nutrients.
Yeah, and a lot of the like Hindu swamis as well, they'll like have their hat like their arm behind their back for like 80 years or something. It's just as like a.
I've seen that done with the moldy hand.
It's just I guess it's a testament to your commitment to the divine.
Man. Do you think that like that's actually real though?
That stuff is not eating. I
reckon there's a guy that just slips a little peanut in his mouth every week. He'll like slyly.
Ice lollies don't count.
A Nando's. What? We found a Nando's receipt on the floor, mate.
I've got a black card, right?
Imagine you found a Wagamama's receipt in the back of him.
You just go to McDonald's and you like see this guy like with a like a baseball cap on. It's like not me, no.
And like a fake mustache, and he's got the moldy hat. That'd be so funny. See with a Burger King. I was like, wait, you're that guy? No, mate.
I mean, we're all that guy. We had that joke. The Dalai Lama goes into a pizza shop and says, "Which one do you want?" And he says, "One with everything."
Oh yeah.
So a video of a guy telling that joke to Dalai Lama, and he's just like.
What is there someone actually says that? Oh yeah, I think I have seen that.
I think it's pretty good.
We need a Jamie. We need to pull it up.
Pull it up.
We'll do it on the screen here.
Just get the sparrows.
Should we allow? Are you going to edit this? Okay, we'll allow a moment of silence for the clip. That was so funny.
Like absolutely not going to put a clip in there. Just going to make you see the absolute formula.
That's like my YouTube ad speaking, because like I'll always be like, click here or like use this code.
But the thing is, you say like you're glad that that you started doing that stuff, and I remember when you started YouTube, but and I love the way it's developed. I love the way that you've like moved into beyond like free running, beyond like adventures, beyond it's become a real thing of like not just storytelling but like life telling, and I really love that. But I think you've always been doing I remember at school before you were filming what you were doing, you were still doing what you were doing, right?
Yeah, I was always like really intrigued about cameras. That was like something I always loved, is being hands-on with cameras and storytelling and through the digital medium.
You're also jumping off of buildings, right?
Yeah, I was doing that as well. But I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand, because obviously if you're jumping off buildings and doing flips and stuff and jumping across walls, you want to film it and you want to make cool edits and like just like skaters or anyone. And I was doing that from when I was like 11. Like I've got old school videos on YouTube, like my 11-year-old boy freerunner. Like it's like a compilation of me doing mad flips when I was 11. So like I was always intrigued about editing and filmmaking, and I was always around people that had really good cameras because they were also filming and making their own videos.
Yeah.
So then I got to be hands-on with these like crazy high-level professional cameras before I was like 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was when I realized like this is so cool that I can like create mad visuals and tell a story through just a tool.
Capture beauty.
Yeah. And then that like really connected with me deep inside me. So then I got into photography, and that was kind of what I wanted to. I wanted to be a photographer really initially, for like the first 2-3 years of like my camera learning journey. And then I had a page called like Gallagher or something, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be my ticket to being a famous photographer. And then after like a year or two of doing it, and like I started climbing buildings to get mad views, to get really good photos and get crazy landscapes.
Is that how you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was like, I was taking photos, but they weren't like that. Like, they were kind of intriguing, but nothing crazy.
But you did do like free running and parkour before that, right?
Yeah.
And you backflipping and...
Yeah. So I've done parkour and free running since I was 10.
Okay.
But then it all kind of merged together because I would always be in the city, but I was also really intrigued with photography and taking cool pictures. But then the pictures were like pictures that anyone could take. So I was like, how am I going to differentiate myself? How am I going to do something that's like never been seen before? And I need to like start, I don't know, get views that 99% of people can't get to. So that's when we started sneaking into construction sites and like climbing up buildings and sneaking past security and getting to the rooftops of crazy locations. And then after like a year or two of doing that, I was like, okay, well, I really want to build a fan base around this. And just posting photos isn't going to connect with anyone like that emotionally and actually have people invested in me. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to step it up and tell the stories of what I'm doing through film. And yeah, that's when I started making videos, making vlogs, and like just documenting the adventures that we were on. And then eventually I was like doing that in my weekends and like random nights. And then I was working like doing furniture delivery, which I hated. And the only reason I was doing that was to save up for a better camera, to make better videos. And then eventually I realized I was just on this endless cycle of like saving money, spending it instantly, having nothing. And then I'd like always have this idea that I'd get a better camera in my head, but it was never happening. And I already had a decent-ish camera that would allow me to make what I needed to make, but not as exactly high level as I wanted it to be. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna quit my job, be as broke for as long as it takes for me to sustain this, and hopefully it works. So then, yeah, quit my job, went full stream on YouTube, was just broke for like a year, no money, just like doing anything I can to make content. There was even a point where I didn't have a laptop, so I would like edit in the Apple shop, like on their laptops and shit. Like just plug my hard drive in and just edit on their things.
So I just really need to like check the RAM of this computer. Do you mind if I just...
Just like going deep on Premiere. Yeah, mate, it's just in a test of this system.
Heard about these guys that like go and ask on Facebook Marketplace if they can like test someone's washing machine. They do a load of laundry and then they take it back.
I was doing that, and then eventually made that West Ham video, which was like a mad video, and that just went absolutely like crazy viral.
What did you do there?
We just snuck into the West Ham Stadium on like a random day. It was like a random day. We were like out in Stratford, just bored, trying to find I was already vlogging that day, so I was trying to find content and something to do. And we were there, just like, should we just try and sneak in? Like, fuck it. If we don't get in, we don't get in, but we might as well try. And at that point, I think they were like converting it into the West Ham Stadium maybe, or it had just been like almost finished. So they had like boards around the whole site.
Olympic Park?
The Olympic Park, yeah. Wow. So then we jumped over the fence, snuck in to the like like around the doors that like go around the whole thing, went all the way around, and then we like jumped down this little like back part, and there just happened to be a door with a broom in it, like that had fallen over, and this door was ajar by like an inch, and we were like, oh my god, like this is fucking wild. Open that door, and we were just in like the underneath like tunnels of the stadium, where they like move everything around and do all the logistics and stuff. And then yeah, bro, we just snuck through all of it, got into the stadium. We were like, yeah, got on the rooftop. This is all on YouTube, by the way. We're on the roof. It's called Sneak Into West Ham Stadium. And then yeah, got on like the sign of the West Ham like sign. Then we went onto the actual like football pitch, like ran around the football pitch, done loads of flips on it. Got into the dugouts where the managers sit and like all the most famous football people sit. And then yeah, came home, got super high with my mate, like Dibs, who was also there with me, and literally edited that video all night, done an all-nighter, just literally like, got skunked and edited, and then uploaded it the next day. And then I went on a night out with like some KS people from our school. And then I remember I was out on this night out, and at that point, my most viewed video had like 10K views or something like that, maybe 10, 20K. So then I remember looking at my phone, and it was on like 100K views, the video that I just uploaded.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa, that's a bit mad.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Bro, next day, it was like, just like getting more and more traction, started like news outlets hitting me up and all this stuff. And then the day after that, I think it was on like 1 million views. And in 1 week, I went from like 5K subscribers to like 400,000 subscribers, which was like, fuck, yeah, it's just life-changing sort of situation. And then to follow that up, I was like, okay, I need to do something else which like keeps this momentum going. So then I climbed the building that the Sidemen lived in. Do you know the Sidemen? They're like YouTubers. They're probably the biggest YouTubers in the UK, biggest YouTube group. And they lived in this tower in Stratford. And at the time, it had this like construction ladder which went up the side. So yeah, I climbed that for my next video, made a video on that. That got like 5 million views. And then yeah, bro, it was from there, I was like, okay, I'm a YouTuber now. And then, yeah.
Do you feel like a similar thrill when you're like climbing or jumping from buildings to like when you're breaking in, well, not breaking in, but finding a way in, not breaking and entering, well, following a broom, or like finding ways into places, and also the like thrill of like, oh my god, 1 million people have seen this, like, or whatever. Is it all similar?
I don't know. I try.
What is the experience?
I think it's very dangerous to allow numbers on a screen to affect your emotions. And I've got into that such spiral in my life before, where if I'm not getting views, I feel like deeply anxious and stressed and almost depressed.
And have you also ever felt that like a pressure to do more like dangerous or outrageous things?
Big time, 100%. And that was like, I mean, that like it's part of the story because, yeah, I mean, because of that like stress and pressure that I feel from not getting views and not getting like crazy numbers, that would push me to do stuff which my rational mind wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And then that led me to sneaking into a fucking airport and getting inside a plane, getting in the cockpit and getting on the wings and filming it and putting it on the internet like a fucking idiot. And then my house got raided and I got all my electronics taken and I was under investigation for 7 months.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we could talk about
No, that's fine, yeah. It's on the internet, but yeah, I was under investigation for like a terrorism level charge.
Endangerment of aircraft vehicle.
It was endangerment of an aircraft under the Aviation Act of 1985, which is like, I was told is like terrorism level.
Yeah.
And I generally thought I was going to go to prison for like 10 years.
Yeah.
But by the grace of something, God maybe, I don't know,
the same being that left
yeah, probably that guy.
Broom.
I mean, the being of the universe just taking me on a journey, really. and yeah, it ended up being a no further action due to lack of evidence and lack of signage on the exterior.
Even though you
it's on the internet, which is like,
he's innocent.
Yeah. But look, I don't know. I think they had to do something. They obviously knew that we were just some kids fucking about, really.
They must have got. They probably would have got so much.
Oh yeah. I think there was like a whole Facebook group dedicated to
how were you feeling? How did you feel with it?
Oh, bro, it was the most anxious and like stressful 7 months of my entire life. My whole family was stressed. My mum was stressed. My dad was stressed. I was stressed. Everyone was stressed. Everyone thought I was going to prison. I was waiting to get a court date and have to like go to the court and get fucked for it. And then after like 7 months of just complete uncertainty and not knowing, that's when I got the call from the constable. And I was like out in London training, doing parkour. Got a call from this woman. She was like, due to like all this stuff, due to lack of signage and lack of evidence, we're gonna drop the case and it's gonna be no further action. And I literally just cried. Like I just sobbed, just in the middle of London. And then called my mum, she was crying, and we were all just grateful that it didn't go too far. But yeah, I mean, it was a lesson that I needed to know, bro. And I think I needed to learn that shit because it was a mixture of like, I was taking some crazy risks. Like, I think there's a level where taking risks borders into recklessness.
Yeah.
And I was on the level of like just pure recklessness. Like we'd be climbing cranes in the rain.
Yeah.
And shit like that. And it would be like wet. And I like you know when like you put your foot on like metal in the rain, it does that squeaky sound. I'd be like on the top of a crane, up the arm of a crane, and like my feet are slipping.
Was there a part of you that enjoyed that? Was that specific aspect of it?
So like, obviously adrenaline is like one of the craziest things in the world. If it was a drug that you could, which it is, I'm sure like, yeah, it's an insane feeling. That adrenaline rush when you get that like, and it's just like blood's pumping, your blood vessels are open, and it's just wild. And like, yeah, it's something that like I've definitely got addicted to for sure.
Do you think, and if this isn't okay to talk about, we can cut this, but do you think like, so your mum had like terminal cancer when she was young, or she was told it was going to be terminal, and then she's still like amazing and with us, and
15 years
one
later,
of the most incredible, impressive people I've ever met in my life, and like credits her getting through it to the power of like positive belief and all of that, and you know, modern medicine as well. But do you think that you're like in, I guess, intimacy with the possibility of death, but also coming close to that and then coming out the other side of that? Do you think that's informed like either or both your embrace of risk and adventure and coming closer, but also maybe like wanting to make the most of time, like you keep talking about making the most of time?
I guess so. I think, to be honest, like I was quite young when my mum had cancer, so I couldn't really like comprehend it that much. From what I remember, I knew that it was like really bad and really like wild, but I never really like could comprehend it to the point where it was like I realized it was an existential threat. So I think maybe subconsciously it had an effect on me, but really I think it was probably my like just pure ADHD that just led me on this path of like, I don't know, being addicted to adrenaline and doing mad shit and making crazy adventures. And I don't know, I think my mum asked me that question as well recently actually, which is interesting that you brought up as well. I've never really thought about it. Maybe it did have some sort of subconscious effect on me. And I did get like an understanding of the, how time isn't endless at such a young age and that we are gonna die. And to be honest, like that is a big part of my life philosophy, is like understanding that I genuinely am gonna die one day. And I think people take that with a grain of salt and they don't take that seriously. And I definitely think, like I look at some people and I'm like, you know you're gonna die one day. Like, do you understand that?
Yeah. Do you might understand it, but do you understand?
Do you really like comprehend what that is? And I think obviously a lot of people are probably quite religious, so they just think that there's gonna be some sort of afterlife and that it's not as bad. I think that there's just gonna be nothingness, which we can't comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
But
which is what it was before you were here.
I mean, I've already not existed for billions of years. Well, I have existed.
But now I'm here, I want to hold on.
Exactly. So it's like I have existed, not consciously.
Yeah.
I've managed to have some sort of the matter that makes me has somehow, by some weird coincidence of uncomprehensible levels, led me to experience the universe as itself. And like I've only got a short amount of time to experience it. At some point, I'm not going to experience it again. So whilst I'm here, do as much as I can.
Yeah, experience everything there is to experience, even the bad or confusing or interesting things.
So I guess maybe my mum having a terminal diagnosis when I was younger did have some effect. But also, I don't think I knew that she was terminal. Right. I don't think they ever really they kind of made it seem that way, but I never really was told that she could definitely die. I just was unapologetically optimistic about her being fine. And that's how, even with my dad now, he's got cancer as well, now, and I'm the same.
Yeah.
And I think that, I don't know, obviously, my thing is I don't ever want to worry about something I have no control over, because it's pointless. It does nothing, and it only puts you in a spiral of emotional loops of thinking the same thing over and over again. So if I have no control over it, cool, let it be, move on, try and work on stuff that I can potentially have some control over. And that's why I think it's better to look at things with a 100% optimistic viewpoint rather than a doubting negative viewpoint. And that's allowed me in my life to, I guess, get to the point now where I'm like, fuck it, even if I did chase, with YouTube, even if I did chase my dreams and I was broke for a year and eventually I went homeless, it's all part of the plot anyway. It's part of the story.
It's all part of that experience that we get to have. It's inexplicable why we do, but we may as well.
Exactly. It will all work out eventually.
But I don't know, I think it seems to me, it feels like, I think that's a beautiful approach and way of living that you carved out and you do and that you feel. But to me, it seems deeper as well in you, that it feels like you were talking about your dad the other day, and you were sort of just saying and forgive me if I'm misquoting in some way, but you're like, I don't really feel sad, I just feel grateful that I ever got to know him and the beautiful person he is. And to me, that's deeper than I focus on what I can control, and that's I don't know, that's a very profound way of seeing the world and living life that I find quite beautiful to see from you.
Thank you. Hear from you. Well, it's a perspective shift, really. A lot of people, they see death and they see loss as something where it's loss. But I see it as everything ends at some point. So we have to be grateful that we even got to experience it. I'm so honored that I got to experience time with all the people I've lost. I lost my best friend from climbing.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say.
So I mean, there was a long time, for a year, I was super depressed and anxious about that. And
he was doing similar to what you were doing, jumping.
Big up Johnny. Big up Demo.
What was his name?
Johnny Turner. Big up Demo, also his name.
And was that a shock? How did that? I
mean, I never lost anyone that close to me ever. So it was completely world-shattering, life-changing event that made me a stronger person and made me, I think, able to understand death in a different way. Not from a way of you're losing this thing and this person, which obviously you are. You're not going to be able to speak to them again. You're not going to be able to experience it. But you got to be with them. You were one of the main characters in their life.
Yeah.
And it's I think we only exist after we die through people's memories and through the people that are around us. So it's how incredible that I, as I said, with the extremely low chance of me existing, got to experience his extremely low chance of existing at the exact same time in the universe out of billions of years.
Yeah.
That's such a blessing. How incredible and amazing that is.
Yeah. And possibly meaningless universe.
Yeah. And it's none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
We all pretending it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's all random and weird and crazy. But I got to experience that with this other being. And he might be gone consciously, but he still lives through our memories and this and that. So I think from my experience of losing him, it allowed me to look at death and passing in a different perspective, which is more from a place of gratitude. And I think that's how it should be. When I die, I don't want people to be sad. I don't want people to be wearing black to my funeral. That's such a that's shit. I don't want that. I want people to be hyped up. I want to be like, yes, this guy existed. He lived his life. He did cool ass shit. He made mad memories. He experienced everything he could. And I want them to be wearing crazy colours and having a beautiful celebration. And I don't want to be, oh, he lived a beautiful life and he was an amazing person. And they're crying and all this shit. Cool, cry as much as you want. But when you're at my funeral, I want it to be an event. I want it to be a rave. I want people to be hyped up. So yeah.
It's the way you live your life as well. That's how.
Yeah, true. I guess it is.
So why have the day that's commemorating you be different to how you were? You were never a person that carried darkness and blackness, and why dress everyone up in black and somber? You know, why not celebrate someone's life in the way that they are?
Like, I always got confused when people wore. Like I was watching the Pope's wedding the other day, and everyone wore black.
The Pope's wedding. He got married to eternity and died.
Yeah, the Pope's funeral. And I was seeing all these people wear black and like veils and stuff. And I was like, how sad is that?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the colour black's sick. And I do actually love the colour black and it's sick. And I wear a lot of black. But I don't want it to be in a sad event. It obviously is sad for some intrinsic reason in humans. And like we get in this
pain.
It is pain, yeah. I guess that's what it is.
And to never see them again.
But why is pain associated with blackness? I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I guess that's just a social construct.
With things that feel difficult, things that feel unpleasant, we put that in together with the dark, I suppose. And maybe in some sense there's something good about that in acknowledging that you know the darkness as part of like life, as part of the balance of life, is something that maybe includes the darker aspects of life, of pain, of loss, of suffering, and acknowledging that and memorializing that, I suppose. But yeah, I also think sometimes we can like cast the bad things into one category and put that away.
I think you're being called away.
Okay, all right. Well, can you wait for me? Like, we'll wrap this up and I will come with you. All right. I think that was
pretty good, little cheeky.
I just wanted to ask you before we end, the experience of losing your friend, and first I'm so sorry that happened. And he sounded like a beautiful person and did incredible things.
You'd have loved him. Trust me.
Maybe I still will. Maybe.
Yeah, true.
And this is the other thing as well, that like there is this theory, right, that Einstein believed that space and time were basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's called the block universe theory. And in the same way that when you start at the top of my hand and you get to the bottom of there, the top doesn't stop existing. The idea is that it's the same with time. As you pass through time, the past times actually don't stop existing. They exist forever. So not only is it fantastic that you've got to have those times with the people that you did in this inexplicable universe, but you, in a very real physical sense, are still, that moment exists forever.
It's our perception, isn't it? It's time. It's time in the dimension that we perceive it.
Yeah.
And there could be so many other dimensions that we can't perceive because we don't have the tools to perceive it. But yeah, I guess what you're saying, for us, time is linear.
Yeah.
And it does exist forever.
Yeah. So the other question that I was going to finish with is that losing a friend and doing, you know, and you spoke at the beginning about like this call to adventure, this call to seizing life, carpe diem. You know, I think it's a beautiful thing. But you also touched on like maybe a darker or a more negative aspect of it, that it makes you feel guilty. And I suppose in a friend dying, doing the thing that you were doing, that's the real dark side of the sport or that, even if just that approach to life. And like, did that change? My question is, did that change what you do and how you approach what you do in your life?
Definitely. I mean, it all kind of happened at once with like the police thing, and I was also getting kind of bored of climbing anyway. And then my friend died, so it was like that all happened within like the space of a year or so, and it all kind of led to me sort of transitioning out of that. But at the same time, I'm grateful that my friend lived in the way that he did, because I genuinely believe he lived like 80 years worth of life in his 27 years, or 24, 25, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like within, like he was literally the embodiment of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like barely ever could keep a job because he was so like creative and was just out all night climbing rooftops sketching. He was a beautiful artist, like incredible artist, and he would just had no like barely any structure, like zero routine, zero structure, but just completely present to his body and the way that his body wanted him to live and to his creative desires. And it was like he would just completely dedicate himself to living the life that fulfilled him and fulfilled those desires constantly. Always out every single night, out exploring crazy places, exploring new buildings, doing parkour in the day, then like sketching all night and finding beautiful views and like sketching them down and making these. Then he'd go home and he'd go home at like 2 a.m., get a canvas out and just start painting this like incredible art from his memory of these beautiful views that he'd seen. And it was like these art pieces, like these huge amalgamations of urban brutalist architecture and like incredible different like geometries and all this stuff. And then that's just who he was. So he was the complete embodiment of all the things I'm saying, and the complete rebel against the stereotypical life that we've been told we need to live. And that's why he was so inspirational to me.
I think to me that just really underlines like this whole conversation, and I think perhaps your approach to life and way of living that I see is like not letting the dark overshine the light. And then like it literally can't, like light, like David Lynch has this great quote, like you don't even need to focus on the dark, you just switch a light on and it casts out the dark.
True.
But like yes, it was awful what happened, and it was maybe, partly because of the recklessness that we're talking about, and that is a darker side of that, living in that way, possibly, and being so present. That like, if you're living in that way, almost like the egoless person, of like, you're so present that living in such a incredible way that there's that risk and that harm that unfortunately befell him. And also, I guess, with what you went through with your mum, what you're going through right now with your dad, and him being very ill and possibly passing away soon. But like all of that darkness and not flinching from it and acknowledging it, but at the same time, not only not letting it drown out the light, but just having the light of the gratitude you have for your dad, having the light of the inspiration you have for your friend, having the light of the adventure and the existential approach to just enjoying your life and living life, like having that shine through all of these things, I think. It underlines like, but everything we've been talking about, but also how I think you live your life. And like, I find you very inspiring as a human being. I'm very glad to know you.
Thank you, bro. Same for you, man.
I see you for everything you've been through, everything you go through, and like
that's a beautiful thing.
How you're shining your light into the world. So literally.
Thank you, man.
And on such a sunny day. So
Wow, that was a beautiful thing. And I really appreciate the words you just said. So go catch your bus, and man, thank you for having me. Sweet.
Well, that was fucking great. Deeply entertaining and moving and funny. I really hope that you guys enjoyed that conversation as much as I did, and so he tells me Harry did also. A really profound exploration of what he does and why he does it, and I think a call to arms to live in a more vibrant, experiential, no holds barred, adventurous way. If you're interested and haven't already, I strongly suggest you check out some of Harry's other stuff. He's Nightscape on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. And maybe this conversation can serve as a sort of philosophical scaffolding, if you will, to go and watch some of his videos. For instance, his most recent one, traversing the Paris catacombs, I believe, and imbue it with a maybe even deeper understanding of why he's doing what he's doing. And I think a lot of that vibrancy and adventurousness to life can came to Harry through many places, as we discussed, but no doubt strongly in part by his wonderful father, the late great William Gallagher, who, as I mentioned earlier, sadly did pass away since we had that conversation. So I would like this episode of this podcast to be in memoriam to Billy, and let his memory, and more than his memory, the vibrancy of his spirit really live on through this adventurous, as I keep saying, approach to life that he really had and imbued with not just Harry but everyone that met him. And there's a link in the description to a GoFundMe page to the people who were looking after him during the final part of the winter of his life, if anyone wishes. And also the fantastic Domnu Valley, which was founded by Harry's older brother Nathan and his partner Zena, and their wonderful Love Jam community. You can check them out. It's where we filmed the episode. Domnu Valley on Instagram, website, a beautiful, beautiful project that Billy literally helped physically build and instill as well, this shared collective spirit in, and it's been a fantastic place for my life, and I really suggest looking into it and the amazing things that they do. Maybe we'll have a couple of them on the podcast and talk about what that project is and what that community is and what co-living and alternative ways of living and living in community and living in nature can really be like, and the problems and beautiful things that arise from that in a future episode. The hope is, and I like to say hope can be a verb, it can be something you do, and as Yoda liked to say, there is no try, there is only do. I try and hope and act toward releasing a podcast every Friday. So let's see, knock on wood, and we are in the wood room, if that happens. But wherever you are seeing this and wherever you are hearing this, I would love to see you and hear you and be heard by you again soon. You're very welcome in this digital, ephemeral, noumenal space that we call the Hyper Theory podcast, traversing art and philosophy and humor and conversations with who I consider and I think are unarguably some of the world's most interesting people. I'm really excited about some of the guests who are coming up, and I hope to maybe have you here again. I would also hope that you can, as well as checking out some of the work that he's done and does, carry with you this sense of vibrancy and aliveness and adventurousness and positivity that Harry embodies and shares and spreads and does through his work. And whether that means probably not jumping from buildings, and I disclaim, do not jump across buildings unless you have the sufficient safety and training in place, or more likely looking at a sunbeam across a park or dancing in your living room with your dog. I invite you to carry through with you some of these approaches to life that we've been talking about and that Harry so beautifully embodies in his everyday life and in the videos and adventures that he undertakes. So with that, I encourage you to enjoy your life, and if consciousness, as we've been discussing in the previous episodes, is really this fundamental thing, and I think it is, and I think it's unarguable that it is, because you're seeing this, then go forth and experience as much consciousness and as much rich and bold and vibrant consciousness as you can. Again, maybe not jumping from buildings like Harry does, and he does a lot of other fantastic things as well, but in every way that you can. And I want to thank the fantastic Robbie Mortimer, who's our editor, the wonderful Gregor McMurray, who provides the music for Hyper Theory, and you, dear listener, please come back again and go forth and be happy and conscious. Peace out, Girl Scouts.